All right, so I was on social media earlier today and I saw this from Trevor Bauer. He would love to pitch for the San Diego Padres. This guy on Twitter, probably not willing to play for the Padres, huh? And Trevor Bauer replies, I would love to, actually. Look how many views that got. Obviously, that gets a ton of run on social media. Trevor Bauer, I saw he was quote tweeting someone on social media. I think it was Gary Sheffield's son, that he would be willing to pitch on a league minimum contract with incentives, performance based incentives. And you see that, and I'm like, okay, thinking from my GM perspective, like, so take emotions out of it. What is best for the team on the field? You know, Trevor Bauer, he is a talented baseball player. I think his velocity is still upper 90s. I think he pitched pretty well. He was pitching in Japan, I believe. I tried to look on Baseball Reference. I couldn't see his numbers there, so it didn't show the stats. If someone knows his stats in Japan, please, you can put it in the comments. I'd love to see any actual stats on Trevor Bauer there. I do remember seeing on social media. I know a lot of things that are negative end up getting a lot of play on social media, but I saw a lot of times he was struggling and giving up some bombs there. But that might have been at the beginning of his time, not playing in Major League Baseball when he was trying to, rebuild that image. He has gone on an apology tour. He was on WFAN earlier this offseason. He was on some national shows as well. And he was pretty much saying, like, I was super, detail oriented, super focused on my job playing on the field. I was not that same thing with my personal life off the field. And so he regrets that, obviously. Um, but like this for me, while the Padres, they have a budget, they need starting pitching, league minimum deal, there's like no risk there, right? But there is a risk. Like, what would the teammates think about bringing Trevor Bauer in? While it may make sense in terms of budget, and Trevor Bauer has shown that he is a talented pitcher at the big league level before, and you'd be paying him like nothing in terms of Major League Baseball salary, what you're paying other starting pitchers, you might have to pay $10 million to Michael Lorenzen or league minimum to Trevor Bauer. Like for the Padres, what would make most sense there? Okay, you go probably with the league minimum guy, but these guys are humans. There are guys in that clubhouse that probably don't want Trevor Bauer in that clubhouse. There are families involved in this that probably don't want Trevor Bauer to be in this organization. What would Peter Seidler think about this? Now, maybe some would be like, why should that even be a question? It should be about what can this guy do for you on the field? One, there are question marks about that. Like, what would he do at the major league level with the Padres? It's probably a distraction that this team doesn't need. And I'm all for like people getting second chances. It's not like he killed someone, but I guess I'd rather see another team take that chance on him and him prove himself with another team before I have my team go take the chance on Trevor Bauer. You know, what has been, I know that he has not been, if I remember correctly, he has not gotten into like serious trouble with what has happened here, but he was suspended for a long time by Major League Baseball. And there's a reason why he hasn't been picked up this offseason by a major league team. It's not like the Padres are the only team out there that has a budget that needs starting pitching. Why are other teams not signing Trevor Bauer? Like, I'd still rather go with someone that I don't have to worry about in the clubhouse. I don't have to worry about what things might go on during a season with this player. Sure, there might be a question mark with injuries, but there could be a question mark with injuries with Trevor Bauer if he came in to this Padres team. So I'm sure that some fans in the comments, some on social media will say they should sign Trevor Bauer because it makes sense. You'd be paying him like nothing. He has won a Cy Young before. I know it's a short season, but he has a 1.73 ERA in 2020 with the Reds, won a Cy Young, had a 2.59 ERA in 17 starts with the Dodgers in 2021 before everything happened, right? This guy has proven that he could pitch at the big league level, but it has been a little bit of time before he has pitched at the big league level. And it's not like this is Aaron Hicks that we're talking about, where like I was advocating for the Padres to sign Aaron Hicks because you'd be paying him nothing, essentially, because the Yankees still have that contract that they're paying him, but he doesn't have the off the field things. And he would not be a distraction to the team. Reporters would not be asking questions to teammates about, oh, what do you think about the Padres signing Aaron Hicks? There wouldn't be that much attention on it. It would literally be a low risk move just for the baseball. There's no other baggage to Aaron Hicks. Where with Trevor Bauer, he can go on these apology tours, and if he is genuine in it, I appreciate that. And I'm for people getting second chances, but I probably wouldn't want the second chance to be on the Padres right now at this moment in time. Now, maybe Trevor Bauer, whoever signs Trevor Bauer, I don't think he's going to get signed, but let's say a major league team signs Trevor Bauer, he's on the major league roster, and he pitches well, and it's like a 1-year contract. The Padres might have to pay more. They would have to going into next season, not this coming year, but next season. But I'm more willing to do that, actually, and that might sound dumb, but I'd be more willing to do that than give him the league minimum now, because there's just the question marks there with Trevor Bauer. I know some people are going to disagree with me and that they should make this move. Capitalize when Trevor Bauer is desperate to come, back to the big leagues. He's desperate to sign with the team, so he'll take any money. Doesn't matter what it is. He's not asking for $30 million a year. You can get this guy who's won a Cy Young before. You could get him at less than $1 million. You do that when you're a team like the Padres that needs starting pitching and has a budget. But what would Peter Seidler? Would Peter Seidler want this? What about the female part of this fan base? What would they think about this? It's not just a baseball move. There's other things. There's other, trickle down effects that would happen of this move, in my opinion. So I would not do it. I would go make a trade for starting pitching, because not all of these top prospects for the Padres are going to be able to make big impacts on this Padres team. And then there's not even top prospects. There are mid-level prospects that aren't probably going to get much opportunity with this big league team, because there are other guys ahead of those guys. There are free agents that could sign that could block those guys. There are trades that could happen, bring in major league talent that could block those guys, so, or just those prospects aren't going to pan out. So the Padres just have to weigh which ones do we want to really keep and which ones are we willing to give up. You could get some cheap starting pitching out there on the trade market, and who knows what happens in free agency if the market goes down. I just wouldn't be the biggest fan of bringing Trevor Bauer in. Maybe if a team is willing to give him, would he be willing to sign a minor league deal with the team? I'm not saying that should be the Padres, but I want Trevor Bauer to prove before the Padres take any chance on him. I want him to prove to the world that he can pitch and be a good human being for a substantial period of time before we give that chance to him at the big league level. That's my thoughts on that. Obviously, give your thoughts. Trevor Bauer, he would love to pitch for the Padres. Well, he would love to pitch for the A's. He wants to get back in Major League Baseball, so he's going to be willing to do probably whatever it takes to get back into Major League Baseball. I'm just not the biggest fan of that.